Welcome back, fight fans. Hope everybody had a happy Easter weekend with their loved ones. And welcome back to the show now for UFC 327, Prochazka versus Ulberg. Going down Saturday night right here in the 305, my hometown. That's right, I will be attending. Pretty hyped to go. This is a pretty stacked card. You know, Miami is a very sexy city. And this main event is not too sexy. It could have been two other guys on there more interesting, but this is it's not a bad event more nonetheless. You know, it has what I do like about this card is that it's pretty stacked as far as there's no real gimmies. Every fight is a pretty toss up. Any guy or gal can win any fight here. The card is really stacked. We got, besides the main event, we got Curtis Blades coming in, fighting Josh Hockett. Cub Swanson, I think this is his last fight before he retires. Got Big Mouth. Big Mouth Kevin Holland is on here. Another Mexican Mamacita fighting this weekend. And got a pretty stacked card overall. So I'm expecting big things here. Let's kick it off with the first fight of the night. Charles Radke, Buffalo Chuck versus Francisco Prado. Now, this is a pretty good way to start the fight. Start the card, sorry, on the early prelims. This fight is pretty interesting. You know, both guys are gonna come forward. Both guys like to strike. Radke, I feel like he has a better training partners. Better camp. You know, he's usually he looks like he'll be more prepared for this fight. He's more well rounded as a fighter as opposed to Francisco Prado, who's not bad at all. I like the way he engages, has a good tank, but you know he loses a lot of fights to decisions. His lost four out of his last 5 fights. He's very young. He's very young. He's very raw. He's losing decisions to guys like Malarkey, which is not a good look. You know, if you're losing to Malarkey, but he's only 23 years old. You know, his last fight, I thought he won, but it's really close. Another close decision, and for that, I just think Charles Radke is going to be well more prepared, better coached, and I trust in Charles Radke to come out with a win here. Probably decision or late sub, maybe. Might be the first guy to finish Prado in the UFC, and I don't think he'll TKO him because he's pretty tough, but he can get him in a compromising position and get a late sub or decision. I say decision just because of his track record, but the late sub is live there. Next fight on the card, Kevin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. Interesting fight here. Interesting fight. Kevin Gastelum lately has been trading. Win, loss. He wins one, he loses one. He wins the other one, he loses the other one. So, I don't know about Kevin Gastelum. Will he even make weight here? The weight issue's been very, very tough for him lately. After a certain point of his career, Kevin Gastelum hasn't been the same. Doesn't have that edge that he used to have when he first got to the UFC. Both guys here do have a lot of fights under the belts in the UFC, so they're well-seasoned vets. But Luque has a big drop off too after he lost a few fights ago after he fought, I believe it was Jeff Neal. He got knocked out by Neal, and he just hasn't been the same. I haven't seen the same Luque. He's more hesitant lately. He got submitted by Kevin Holland, of all people. Kevin Holland is not known for his ground game. Luque is. He got smoked by Jose Alvarez. Should have been a stop. The referee messed up there, and the fight went on and it ended up being a unanimous decision. But that fight should have been a finish. Um, he just hasn't been looking good. He lost 2 out of his last 3, but here's the caveat: he's fighting Kevin Gastelum. So I mean, it's it's a toss up really on this one. Um, I do think it's gonna go the distance because both guys know how to weather the storm, and both guys are not known to quit, so to speak. So give me decision, and I'm gonna take Luque by decision. All right. So the next fight we got Chris Padilla versus Markel Maderos. We got Taco in the house. Taco's been really good to me when I bet on him, lately, and he's a guy that keeps getting better and better. I like his performances. I like fighters like him that listen to their corner, that stick to their game plan. Even when things go rough, because we all know it only takes one punch or one thing to swindle our plans. But Chris and his corner always seem to be on the same page, which I think is really good. He's undefeated in the UFC. I like that, and he's fighting Markel Maderos, a guy who very aggressive, very aggressive. He's gonna come forward. He has the kid has hella swag. Um, Factory X. He was in Factory X. I believe now he's in the MMA lab, and those guys got a good thing going over there. I'm expecting big things from Markel Maderos and the guys in that gym. Since he made that switch, he's gotten even better, which is really good. It's really good. I think both of these guys are really good. Both of these guys have a really bright future. This is a tough one as well. Like I said, a lot of these fights are close. Um, both guys, are due for a win here, but hopefully it's a tie. But I'm gonna have to pick a winner here because that's what the show's for, and I'm gonna say Maderos wins by split decision. That's how close I think this fight is. I really like both guys. Uh, you know, High hopes, big future for both of them. But I'm gonna say Markel Maderos wins by split decision. All right. So to start the early prelims, that's Radke, Luque, and Maderos, all by decision potentially. All right. Now we move on to the regular prelims. 7 o'clock. We got Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez. Suarez comes with strong wrestling. She has a strong wrestling background. Kind of reminds me of a bigger Verna Jandiroba, which we saw last week. So we know what type of fight she brings to the table. What I don't like is she got fraud checked by Wiley Jing. I thought that she was going to implement her game plan like she always does. She's not young. She's been around for a while. She did have that long layoff, but at the end of the day, she's 35 years old, and she's been wrestling forever. So I don't know why she was so hesitant against Wiley Zhang, but that was not a good look. But she did come back. She did come back and beat Lemos, which is good. It shows that she's back. But now she's facing Lupe Godinez. And Godinez is 6-2 in her last 8 fights. She's no slouch. She's a Mexican fighter, and we all know that Mexicans come to fight. They bring it. She has lost to Derman, and Verna by decision, but everybody kind of loses to Verna by decision. I think she has better striking than Tatiana. Tatiana's ground game is probably a little better, but Lupi has a good takedown defense, and I'm gonna trust that she's been practicing and that she's learned from her previous fights against Jandaroba and Derman, and that she's not gonna get taken down again. And if she is, she's gonna get back up and make it a fight. You know. So with this, I believe this fight has a really good chance of going the distance as well. If not, it's going to go definitely into the late rounds. And if Tatiana Suarez gets tired, and look for Lupi to overcome her and overwhelm her with shots. But I'm going to go the safe route here and say Lupi Godinez wins by decision as well. All right, so the next fight we got Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. Oh boy. The Gamer versus El Gringo. I like this. I like this fight. Mateusz Gamrot, ATT guy. A American Top Team. We've seen a lot of those guys lately, man. They seem to be fighting on back-to-back cards. We had two on the main event last week, and now we got Mateusz Gamrot here. Man, he lost to Hooker. He lost to Dariush, which is not top tier guys. I don't like that about Mateusz Gamrot, but he can strike. He's a wrestler that can strike. He lost to the BMF, which that's another guy that's the guys he's lost to are top of the top echelon guys. So it's not like he's losing to the bottom feeders. He's ranked 8th. He's there's no question that he's gonna be looking to take Esteban down and implement his game plan there, because Esteban is a very, very dangerous guy. Very impressive since he came off the Contender Series. Doesn't primarily go. He swings with bad intentions. So that's why I say Gamrot is going to look to take him down. This guy does not play games. He comes in here to take your head off, and that's probably what he's going to plan to do here. Let me see. I remember his last fight was against Brenner. That was I did not expect that fight to go to decision, but it did. But this guy's fights are always very entertaining. He's 3-2 in his last 5. Could easily be 4-1. Could easily be 4-1. But you know how these judges are. If you don't have the right judges on these fights any given night, anything can happen. But I'm gonna say Esteban Ribovic pulls this win out. And this is probably the first fight of the night that's not gonna go the distance. I'm going to say Esteban late KO to beat Mateusz Gamrot, and then he'll have a number next to his name next week. How about that? All right, next fight, we got Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. The Trailblazer versus Rude Boy. Interesting fight here. Interesting fight. Both guys, this is a fight that's definitely, well, I'm not going to say definitely, but more than likely will not be taken down, will not be going to the ground. Both guys love to strike. Kevin Holland hasn't fought since December. For him, you say December, that's only 4 months. For most people, that's just a regular layoff. But for Kevin Holland, that's pretty long. He's used to fighting every other month or so. He stays very active, and he's a fan favorite. I'm curious what he's gonna say to Randy Brown during the fight. We all know he likes to talk. He loves to talk after, during, and before the fight. Kevin, he's a talker. That's why Dana calls him Big Mouth. He hasn't fought since December. Took a L to Mike Malott. I expected him to come out with a win there, or put on at least a better performance. I don't like the performance that he did. But hope this long layoff for him did him good. Got him some practice, got him some rest that he needs. Uh, you know, he doesn't. He's a type of guy. He doesn't. He's like a Nate Diaz. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's just gonna come put on a show. And us fans, us people that pay our hard-earned money to go in there and watch these guys, we respect that. You know, I understand at the end of the day, it's a business and you got to win. But Kevin Holland comes to put on a show, and he does. He always does. Gotta give it to him. Both guys are 6'3", same reach. So I mean, it's a pretty even kill fight. Either guy can win. They're both long, rangy guys. Not expecting, like I said, not expecting takedowns here. I'm expecting these guys to go blow for blow, kick for kick, and we'll see who comes out on top. It's going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts. Man, I think Kevin Holland will eventually catch him, or something will happen. There'll be some kind of exchange that it'll go down to the ground, and I'm expecting Kevin Holland to get a late sub here. All right? And that's the way I see this fight playing out. So the next fight, to round off the prelims, Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. A couple guys that ever since they came from the other promotion into the UFC have not been looking the way they promised. And I remember last year, this same month, for the event down here, after the weigh-ins, I was there, and they did an interview for Aaron Pico, and I was like, who is this guy? Who is this Aaron Pico guy? Did a whole show for him. Had everybody there. Oh, the weigh-ins the weigh-in show was over. They made us stay for this Aaron Pico interview and all the hype, and then he comes here, and granted, he did fight the number one or number two, whatever Lerone Murphy was ranked, and yeah, man, Murphy just caught him with a spinning back fist, and that was a total bummer. But Patricio Pitbull, on the other hand, has not been very impressive either. You can say the same thing for both of these guys. UFC, you could say he's not a Pitbull ever since he came to the UFC. Put it that way. He's been more like a Basenji. And for those of you who don't know what a Basenji is, it is a dog. It's a dog. It's like a dog that doesn't bark. Put it that way. It's like a smaller type of greyhound, no bark. But I'm not saying that he can't win. I'm just saying Aaron Pico is younger, hungrier since he got knocked out his last fight, and he had a lot of hype. I think he's gonna come in here, showing that he has a lot to prove, showing that he's still that guy, and that he still got it, even though he's 10 years younger than Patricio Pitbull. I don't know. I think he'll come out and get the best out of Pitbull. I believe Pitbull seems to have lost his identity. He's just not the same as he was in the last organization, and you can tell it's like he has a big drop off. I don't know if it's training, overtraining, or he's just overworked, or his attitude. I don't know. He just doesn't seem very sure of himself, And when you get those two together, I think Aaron Pico will be sharper. I think he'll come out, and if he's smart, he'll establish that jab, and just keep Patricio Pitbull away. But you never know how these fights are going to play out, of course. But yeah, I got Pico winning by finish here, and I don't even think this fight's gonna last too long. Really, I think both of these guys are gonna go at it. I think Pitbull is is tired of the way he's been fighting lately. And I think Aaron Pico has a lot to prove from his last fight. And both guys are going to get at it. And Pico's going to come out victorious with a TKO here. All right. We move on to the main card. Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. Cub is one of my favorite fighters, man. I've always loved to fight to watch this guy fight. He's always been the type to put on a show. Hasn't fought in a while. Actually, I didn't know that it's been over a year since he got his last win. Sorry, against Billy Quarantino, I believe it was. Let me check that. Pretty sure it was Billy Quarantino. December of 24. I didn't think it was that long, but it was. That was a good performance by him after a few off performances. The streak. He has a streak, but he's done better. He's looked better in his last three. And I want to say, well, before he fought Quarantino, he fought Andre Fili. That was a split decision, but that could have gone either way as well. Before that, he also had another win, and then he's at the end of the road here. He's gonna want to go out with a win. We all know Cub. He comes to put on a show as well, and he's fighting Nate Landwehr, which is trains right up the block, not too far. He likes to weather the early storm and to come back. There is no quit in Nate Landwehr. This is tough, man. Like I said at the beginning of the show, a lot of these fights could go either way. This is a tough card to call overall. I want to take the more active Nate Landwehr, but I just have a feeling that Cub is gonna pull out a late sub here. He's looked better in his last three fights. He's looked like he's found his swag again. Like there's something that he found that he was lacking. That he just looks like the old Cub, So he's gonna really want to end it with a W, and Nate Landwehr is gonna he's gonna give him a tough competition here. It's gonna be a good fight to start off the main card. But I got Cub taking it by late decision. Late submission, probably third round, right before the fight's end. The fight's gonna end. He'll catch him in something, and yeah. Probably fight. It could be a fight of the night with these guys. You never know. Next, we got Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker. Oh boy, the Devastator is back, guys. The Devastator is back. Dominic, after 4 losses, he came back after I thought he was done, and he looked like his former self. And but then again, he fought guys like Dustin Jacoby, Anthony Smith, guys that are they're proven UFC guys, but they're not the top of the cream like he's used to facing. Dustin Jacoby, Anthony Smith, and he knocks out Krylov, and you're like, man, he found his swagger back. He's back. He's back. Then he fights Ulberg last year at the end of the year, and we all know what happened in the first round. Yeah, so it's kind of kill or be killed. I feel bad for him because that fight against John Jones was really close. I personally think John Jones won, but it was a really close fight. He really brought it to him, and after that, we of course the big drop off. That his career is like a roller coaster, I just don't think Dom has the high level instincts anymore. And against a guy like Johnny Walker, who's very unpredictable, never know what he's gonna do. I don't even think Johnny knows what he's gonna do. He just goes in there and he's a big wild card. He's probably the biggest wild card in the UFC, to be honest with you. So, man, there's gonna be a KO here. I just don't know who's gonna catch who. Um, I'm gonna go with Johnny Walker just because uh, proven history, proven track record. Johnny Walker, I don't consider him like a malarkey type. I don't consider him uh, like an Anthony towards the end of his career. I think he's much better than that. He has lost, but he's lost to guys like to Ankalaev. He beat Anthony Smith in a close decision. It wasn't a knockout. It wasn't a finish, but he did beat him unanimously. So, uh, you know, he did lose to Ozdemir, but Ozdemir's really good. And then he beat Ming Yang with those calf kicks. Uh, I Johnny Walker's gonna be warm up prepared. He's gonna come with the weird fighting style that Johnny Walker brings in. I don't think the reflexes of Dominic Reyes are gonna be there. So I got Johnny winning this by TKO, first or second round. I don't expect this fight to go too long at all. All right, next we got Curtis Blades against Josh Hokett. This guy Josh Hokett is taking trash talk to a whole new level. A whole new level. I heard this guy earlier today talking about getting guys and chopping this guy's head and putting it on another guy's body and just rearranging guys' body parts. This guy needs to be scanned. He needs some kind of CAT scan. This guy is not normal. Uh, oh man, he doesn't have nowhere near the experience of Curtis Blades. He's very new, 8-0. Only has a couple fights in the UFC, but he's been very impressive since he's been here. Um, he's a top prospect of Jackson Wink, and when Jackson Wink gets under a guy, uh, they really elevate their top prospects and get the most out of them. Hence, John Jones was a Jackson Wink guy at once, and we all knew where he got to before his meltdown. So, you know, comes from a good gym, good training partners as well. Both are wrestlers. Both are wrestlers that can strike. I like the attitude of Josh Hokett. I do think he needs to get drug tested with all the crap that he's talked this week. And I don't think Curtis is gonna come in here with a game plan to mess around. I think he's gonna try to take him down and take him down quick. I think he's gonna go straight to the wrestling. Uh, but you can expect a good little scrap here. Both guys do have a good, strong wrestling base, and both guys can strike, which you want to see that in the UFC. Now Curtis Blades, he's fought really high level competition, so he has the better resume, so to speak. His only losses in the UFC are two to Francis Ngannou. Almost got decapitated by Derek Lewis, and then he lost to the current heavyweight champ, Steve. Sorry, not. Oh my God, sorry. Uh, Tom Aspinall. So yeah, those are four guys that there's no shame in losing to those four guys, and then everybody else who's not at the top of that, the top guys that he's faced, he's pretty much clearly beaten. So the question is Josh Hokett ready? Because if he is, and if he beats Curtis Blades, he's gonna be right there at the top. If Josh Hogan is he's not ranked right now, and Curtis Blades is number 5. So if he beats the number 5 guy, he's ready for the big time, and we better be ready for anything that this guy has to say. Who knows what's gonna come out of his mouth, but we're gonna like it. All right. If he wins, if not, there's no shame in losing to Curtis Blades, but the Razor Blade man is back. So my final prediction for this fight is Josh Hogan. I got Josh Hogan stopping the takedowns, and he's gonna implement his will and and try to get Curtis Blades to fight, to use his fists. And in that case, I think Josh Hogan has. I think on the stand up he definitely has the advantage, as where Curtis Blades probably has the advantage on the ground. But Josh Hogan and Team Jackson Wink, I think I trust in them to have a good game plan to get Curtis to strike, and I think he's gonna come out victorious. All right. Don't see this. I mean, this could go the distance. It could be one of those dragging fights that goes the distance. But I don't see this here. I see Josh Hogan catching Curtis somewhere second or third round, KO or TKO. And that's our prize fight of the night. Now, the co-main event, Asmat Mirzakhanov versus Paulo Costa, is a very interesting fight. Very interesting fight here. We got the professional and the eraser, and I believe this is Costa's first fight at light heavyweight. Which for him, it doesn't really matter. He's not. It's not like he's not gonna. This is probably his weight. If not, he doesn't have a big cut. He looks like a light heavyweight at the very most, and I think this guy is. He wants to fight Chimaev so bad. He's just going to do everything to get to Chimaev, but he knows that he needs to win. Because if not, he's not going to get close to the Chimaev fight. And that's a fight that I've been wanting to see selfishly for a very long time. I think that will be a great fight. I think both guys really dislike each other, to put it in light terms. That beef they had a while ago. That beef is real. But then again, it's Kamzat, so, who doesn't he have beef with? But this guy, Asmat Mirzakhanov, they don't call him the professional for nothing. Guy's a killer. 16-0. All finishes in the UFC. And, what's really interesting about this guy is, the better the competition, the quicker he gets rid of them. And that's what you want in a professional hitman. As his fights have gone on, lately it's been like first round finishes for this guy, one after another after another. That's what you want. If you're gonna hire a Russian hitman, Asmat Mirzakhanov is your man. All right. How does this fight go? Paulo Costa is not. He's not gonna. He does have a very strong chin. I don't think he's ever been finished. Oh yeah, he did. He did get finished by Adesanya out of all people. I didn't see that one coming, but supposedly he wasn't in good shape for that fight or something. He had something, and other than the Adesanya fight, he hasn't been finished. So we're gonna have to take his word for it. And he's been known to finish guys himself. He's always put on great performances. He always comes to fight. He's a Brazilian guy that strikes. He's a Brazilian striker. Usually when you see Brazilian guys, they rely on their ground game and jiu-jitsu, but not this guy. This guy is a clear striker. Very powerful. But he's going up against number 6, undefeated, 16-0, Azamat Mirzakhanov. So, that loss to Izzy looks really bad. Even though, but at that Izzy was right in his prime, so it's not like if he's fought that Izzy as of late. Um, his only losses besides that are Robert Whitaker. He lost to Sean Strickland by decision. But those are guys that are Robert Whitaker and Sean Strickland. Those are two former champs. Those guys are well prepared. They come to fight. Azamant, this is his chance. If he can knock out Paulo Costa, then he'll be knocking on the door for a title fight. If not, really really soon, because his resume is there. I mean, you line him up and he knocks him out. I don't think he'll knock Paulo out, but it's not totally unable to happen. Let's just say it will be interesting. It will be. I don't think he can get denied if he does come in here and knock out Costa, and if he does it in the first round, then man, he'll be on cloud nine because he'll have a title shot in the near future for sure, along with a big fat bonus. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say he does. I'm gonna say he does, but I don't think it's gonna come out early. It's gonna be a late TKO. Paulo Costa's gonna weather the storm, and Azamat's gonna pull it out, man. He just somehow, some way, he when he gets into trouble and it's a fight or flight situation, look for him to come out on top with the overhand and lay it on him. So yeah, I got Azamat Murzakanov winning by late TKO here. And guys, if you like the video, like my content, please feel free to like and subscribe this video and to my channel. And last week we were only one off on the best bets, which I'll drop later on this week. Best bets, we were only one off, and I have a really good feeling about this card as well. So stay tuned. So the main event, we got Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. Oh man, two guys that are. I wasn't expecting this to be the main event when I saw that the UFC was coming here in April. They come here every April, and I was expecting something totally different. But hey, this is not so much of a bad fight. We got two guys that really want to be champion. Yuri was already the champion, and he got dethroned, of course, by the ex-champ, who just forfeited this title to move up to heavyweight. And then we got Ulberg, the Australian playboy, versus Yuri, who I believe he's expecting his firstborn child any day now. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't interfere with this fight. Hopefully, baby can stay in the womb until after Saturday. Yuri Prochazka is a very emotional guy. Hopefully, Josh Hockett did say something today. He almost got into it with Josh Hockett. I hope that doesn't affect him, man. All right, Yuri's a very entertaining guy. On and in and out of the ring. He got smoked by Poatan, but then again, that's Poatan. He lost to Poatan twice. He beat Jamal Hill. That's a very big win. That to me shows that he's game. He's big time. Yeah, man, he really wants that belt back, Yuri. But I don't like the fact that he, doesn't train he trains by himself. He's one of those guys that, the ninja warrior spirit, trains by himself. Just, I thought I was a pretty weird guy, man, but Yuri's makes me feel normal. He's very, you could say he's interesting guy. He's an interesting guy. And Carlos Ulberg is very low key, but he trains at City Kickboxing. So I think that's where the difference is here. He has better training partners. I feel like these guys like Volk training with guys like what's the Nigerian Chinese guy Australian? Oh yeah, Izzy. Training with guys like Israel Adesanya and Volk and these guys and his coach, man. I think he'll be well more prepared in a sense for whatever these guys seem to throw out there. Yeah, he beat Reyes his last fight, but you know, I think Yuri definitely has fought the better competition, but Ulberg definitely has the much better record. He did lose to I believe it was his first fight in the UFC. Man, he lost to what's that guy's name? Cheney, I believe his name was Kennedy. He lost to Kennedy. But after that, he's been on a tear. He's won one of like six, seven, 8 fights in a row. Uh, against pretty dangerous opponents. I mean, I think I think Yuri's track record is greater. He's fought guys, higher caliber guys, but winning 9 fights in a row in the light heavyweight division is not very easy to do. And Black Jag has done that, and he's earned his title shot. Uh, Man, this guy's been undefeated for 5 years, and I don't think that's going to change. I think he's going to come out with a win. I think it's going to be a very good fight. I think it's going to be to start off. I believe it's probably going to be the first round might not be so interesting, but as the fight goes on, these guys will kind of implement their plan, and it'll be interesting to see uh, who shoots for a takedown or if they even do or what happens here. But at the end of the day, I trust that Carlos Ulberg is going to come out with a win, probably by decision. I hope there's a right ref for this fight. Don't know who the ref is going to be, but God, don't let it be. This one guy that I really don't want to be a ref here, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say his name, but I just hope they get a competent ref here who's gonna let these guys fight to their fullest potential, and if they do, and there's no foolishness here, I expect Carlos Ulberg to come out with a win. I'm gonna say by decision. All right, so there you go. That's your full card prediction for this UFC in my hometown in Miami, Florida. 327. Take care, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with the best bets. Your best bets for each and every fight on this card. And yeah, peace out.